Introduction. In the heart of a picturesque, close-knit town, nestled amid the rolling hills and lush, evergreen forests, there existed a story that would, in time, be etched into the annals of its history. This town, with its charming streets and friendly faces, was known for its serene tranquility and the kind-heartedness of its residents. Yet, as we are often reminded, life is a journey filled with unpredictable twists and turns, where even the most idyllic settings can become the stage for profound and poignant tales. At the center of this tale stood Sarah, a woman who had long been a beloved figure in the town. Her cafe, a quaint and welcoming haven, bore the name Sarah's Brews and Bites. Here, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the scent of delectable homemade pastries, and a warm, hearty smile from Sarah herself greeted all who crossed the threshold. Her cafe was more than just a place to grab a cup of joe, it was the heart and soul of the town. The holiday season was fast approaching, and Sarah, like many of her fellow townspeople, was excitedly preparing for the festivities. She envisioned hosting a special Christmas event at her cafe, a gathering that would bring together the entire community in a celebration of warmth, friendship, and the joy that the holiday season traditionally brought. The atmosphere was brimming with anticipation and enthusiasm as Sarah and her friends and neighbors rallied together. They embarked on a collective mission to transform the cafe into a winter wonderland, bedecked with strings of twinkling lights, glistening ornaments, and heartwarming decorations. The walls echoed with laughter and the sounds of carolers singing the songs that had become an integral part of the holiday tradition. The town's residents united in a way that only a small, tight-knit community can. They offered their time, their creativity, and their goodwill to help with the preparations. Old friendships were renewed, and new ones formed. The genuine sense of togetherness that pervaded the town brought forth the spirit of the season even before the event began. Friends who had not spoken in years rekindled their connections, and strangers became friends, all under the watchful eye of the smiling moon that cast a gentle glow over the town. And yet, as life often reminds us, it is during our moments of greatest joy and unity that we may be confronted by challenges of the gravest nature. In the ensuing chapters, we will uncover the journey that Sarah and her fellow townspeople embarked upon, a journey that would test the limits of their community, their resilience, and their understanding of the true meaning of the holiday season. With the arrival of an unexpected storm, their world was about to be turned upside down, and they would learn that the most profound and poignant stories often emerge from the most unexpected tragedies.
Chapter 1: The Gathering Storm. In a small, close-knit town, nestled amid rolling hills and lush forests, lived a woman named Sarah. She was a figure known and loved throughout the community, not just for her inviting personality but also for the warm haven she had created in the heart of town. Sarah's Cafe, aptly named Sarah's Brews and Bites, was more than a simple eatery, it was a refuge for the town's residents. It was here that the rich, comforting scent of freshly brewed coffee intermingled with the tantalizing aroma of her homemade pastries. As she moved from one end of the counter to the other, Sarah's infectious smile welcomed all who crossed the threshold. Her cafe had a unique charm. It was where locals gathered for their morning brew, their midday catch-ups, and their afternoon escapes into the world of freshly baked delights. The cafe, painted in warm, earthy colors, featured wooden tables and chairs that had seen countless conversations and shared laughter. It was a place where the town's stories unfolded, where friendships blossomed, and where life seemed to slow down in the best way possible. With the holiday season fast approaching, the town was in the midst of transformation. Decorations were emerging from storage, and the spirit of the season filled the air with an enchanting, palpable energy. Sarah, too, was swept up in the festive preparations. Her heart swelled with anticipation as she envisioned hosting a special Christmas event at her cafe. The planning had already begun. A festive red ribbon had been hung over the cafe's entrance, twinkling with fairy lights that gently blinked to life as dusk settled in. Inside, the cozy atmosphere was heightened with wreaths, boughs of holly, and an assortment of ornaments that brought the cafe to life. The town's children, with their parents close at hand, crafted paper snowflakes and garlands that would adorn the walls, and carolers had begun to gather in the evenings, rehearsing their harmonious notes. The warmth and love that surrounded Sarah's cafe were contagious, drawing people in from far and wide. Strangers became acquaintances, and acquaintances became friends under the inviting spell of Sarah's establishment. This sense of togetherness was the lifeblood of the town, a place where the heartbeat of the community could be felt, not just during the holiday season but throughout the year. As the town bustled with the promise of what was to come, little did they know that a gathering storm, looming on the horizon, would soon test their unity, resilience, and the very essence of what the holiday season meant to them. The anticipation of joy and celebration would soon collide with the unpredictable forces of nature, setting the stage for an unexpected and heart-rending journey that would define the town in a way no one could have imagined.
Chapter 2: The Joyful Preparations. As the holiday season drew nearer, the town's residents found themselves swept up in a wave of enthusiasm, driven by the promise of the special Christmas event to be hosted at Sarah's cafe. In a display of the true spirit of community, they rallied around Sarah, eager to lend a hand and ensure that this celebration would be a memorable one. The cafe became a hive of festive activity. The townsfolk arrived with arms full of decorations, strings of twinkling lights, and boxes of sparkling ornaments that, like their enthusiasm, would transform the modest space into a winter wonderland. The walls, once painted in soft earth tones, now took on a new identity as they were adorned with garlands of evergreen, red and gold baubles, and strings of colorful paper chains. Laughter became a frequent guest in the cafe as friends and neighbors worked side by side, hanging ornaments from the ceiling, weaving twinkling lights around the window frames, and draping garlands along the walls. The air was filled with the comforting scents of the season, cinnamon, cloves, and the unmistakable aroma of freshly baked gingerbread cookies. The community's shared sense of joy and purpose bound them tightly together. Young and old, they decorated the cafe with fervor, inspired by a vision of the warmth and togetherness that awaited them. Children, their eyes twinkling with excitement, created paper snowflakes and intricate garlands, eagerly contributing their handcrafted works of art to the holiday spectacle. As the days led up to the grand event, rehearsals began for the local carolers who had been practicing the timeless melodies that would soon fill the cafe. The harmonious voices of the choir resonated through the town square,
announcing the arrival of the holiday season and drawing even more people into the festive fold. The cafe, once an oasis of calm and familiarity, now stood transformed into a bustling hub of anticipation, laughter, and creative energy. It had become a place of gathering, a symbol of unity and shared purpose. As the cafe filled with the holiday spirit, the townsfolk eagerly looked forward to the approaching gathering, knowing that it would not just be an event, but a culmination of their shared hopes, dreams, and the unique charm of their small town. The joy that emanated from this preparation was infectious, promising a celebration that would leave an indelible mark on the hearts of all who attended.
Chapter 3: The Arrival of Trouble. Just as the festive preparations reached their zenith, the town was abruptly thrust into turmoil. It was a day like any other, with the air filled with excitement and the cafe buzzing with holiday preparations. But then, with the suddenness of a discordant note in a cherished song, a series of unfortunate events unfolded. A weather system that had not been foreseen, an unexpected storm, swept through the region with a ferocity that seemed almost out of place in the tranquil setting of the town. Gales howled through the streets, and rain pelted down in relentless torrents. The world outside turned into a maelstrom of chaos, with the sky growing dark and menacing. The storm had consequences far beyond what anyone could have anticipated. Power lines snapped, causing widespread power outages that plunged the town into an eerie darkness, as the electric hum of life gave way to an unsettling silence. The cafe's twinkling lights, once so joyful, now flickered feebly before surrendering to the blackout. The heating system, which had provided warmth and comfort to countless visitors, sputtered and died, leaving the cafe as cold and lifeless as the storm-ridden night outside. The town's residents, who had only recently been animated by the promise of the holiday season, found themselves cast into a situation they had not prepared for. The festivities that were meant to warm their hearts now lay shrouded in darkness, like the fragile glow of a flickering candle in a tempest. But the power outage was not the only calamity brought by the storm. As news began to filter in, it became evident that the region's roads were in shambles, blocked by fallen trees, and buried beneath heaps of snow and ice. The very routes that had connected the town to the outside world were now treacherous and impassable. Fear gripped the hearts of the town's residents as they faced the bitter realization that they were isolated, cut off from the rest of the world. The once vibrant cafe, a symbol of community and hope, now sat in the cold and dark, its atmosphere imbued with uncertainty. In the face of this unexpected calamity, the townspeople found themselves grappling with the harsh reality of their situation. The holiday spirit that had bound them together was now strained, but the resilience and unity of the community would soon be put to the ultimate test. As the storm raged on, a daunting journey lay ahead, one that would reveal the depths of their character and their ability to find light in the darkest of times.
Chapter 4: A Community in Crisis. As the storm continued its relentless assault on the small town, the full extent of its devastation became increasingly evident. The heartwarming holiday preparations had been abruptly replaced by a dire sense of urgency and anxiety. The cheerful faces of the town's residents were now etched with worry and fear, as they realized the depth of the calamity they faced. News began to spread like wildfire through the town, revealing the grim reality that several of their fellow townsfolk were trapped within their homes, isolated by the impassable, snow-choked roads. It was a harrowing situation, families huddled together in dark, cold houses, unable to venture outside, their connection to the rest of the world severed by nature's unrelenting fury. Sarah, the heartbeat of the community, recognized that the time for action had arrived. She and her neighbors understood that they couldn't wait for help to come from the outside. They needed to rely on their own resources and resilience. The spirit of unity that had always bound this close-knit town had not been extinguished by the storm, it had merely transformed, taking on a new and determined form. With a sense of unwavering purpose, they began forming teams. Some brave souls gathered whatever tools they could find to clear the roads, their faces obscured by scarves and hats as they battled the biting cold and fierce winds to free their neighbors from their snowbound homes. The sound of shovels striking the ground, and the muffled voices of determination filled the frosty air as they worked tirelessly to break through the snow and ice. Others took on the role of couriers, venturing out to deliver essential supplies to those who needed them most. Bundled up against the frigid weather, they navigated the perilous paths, ensuring that no one was left without the necessities to endure the storm. Warm blankets, canned goods, and bottles of water were passed from hand to hand, bringing a glimmer of hope to those trapped within their homes. Sarah's cafe, once a hub of joy and celebration, was now transformed into a shelter from the storm. The doors, which had been flung open in welcome to the entire town, were now a refuge for those who needed warmth and shelter. The townsfolk huddled together, sharing stories and fears, and finding solace in their shared experience. They wrapped themselves in blankets, huddled around candles, and for a while, the cafe became a sanctuary of comfort in a world grown harsh and unforgiving. In this chapter, the town's resilience and unity were showcased in their most profound forms. The storm had shaken the town to its core, but it had not broken the spirit of its people. They came together as a community in crisis, displaying the strength of their character and their willingness to support one another, even in the darkest of times. In the midst of this turbulent night, they were about to learn the true meaning of selflessness, compassion, and the unyielding power of their bond.
Chapter 5: Sacrifices and Struggles. With each passing day, the relentless storm showed no signs of abating, deepening the sense of desperation and uncertainty that had settled over the town. The situation had evolved into a grueling test of the town's unity, as the scarcity of resources and the ongoing power outage strained the bonds that had always held them together. In the absence of electricity, the cafe was shrouded in darkness, save for the faint, flickering glow of candles. The charming decor that had once created an atmosphere of coziness now served as a stark reminder of better days, days when the cafe had been filled with the warmth of community, laughter, and festive decoration. The town's shared stockpile of food and supplies began to dwindle at an alarming rate. As Sarah and her fellow townspeople continued to provide shelter and sustenance to those in need, the once well-stocked shelves of the cafe grew increasingly bare. What had once been a haven of culinary delight was now becoming a symbol of sacrifice, as they shared the limited provisions with those who had nowhere else to turn. The constant struggle to keep the cafe warm and supplied with essentials left everyone exhausted and disheartened. Sarah, who had always been a beacon of hope, felt the weight of the situation bearing down on her shoulders. She had become not just a cafe owner but a caretaker of the town's collective spirit. With each passing hour, it became more apparent that the storm was not merely a temporary obstacle but a long and arduous trial. The camaraderie that had initially bolstered the town's spirit was now tested to its limits. Yet, it was during these times of adversity that the strength of character emerged in its truest form. Sarah and her neighbors were facing despair head-on, but they clung to the flickering embers of hope. They understood that their sacrifices and struggles were a testament to their unwavering commitment to one another. As the cafe's lights continued to wane, they found that the warmth that mattered most was not generated by electrical heaters, but by the bonds of love, support, and determination that they shared. In this chapter, the town's resilience was pushed to its limits as they faced the grim reality of dwindling resources and their own exhaustion. The story of Sarah's cafe became not just a tale of struggle but a testament to the extraordinary strength that emerges when a community unites against all odds. As they persevered through this trying time, they were about to discover the true depth of their collective spirit and the remarkable power of human resilience in the face of adversity.
Chapter 6: The Power of Community. As the days stretched into a long, arduous wait for the storm's end, the town and its people held fast to a single glimmer of light in the darkest of times: hope. The storm's unrelenting assault on their town had not shattered their spirits, it had, in fact, brought the community even closer together. The cafe, once a bustling hub of holiday joy, now served as a sanctuary for the town's weary residents. Inside, the atmosphere remained dimly lit by candles, their warm glow casting dancing shadows on the faces of the people who had taken refuge there. In this small oasis of warmth, the sounds of shared stories, soft laughter, and heartfelt songs replaced the usual hum of the cafe's appliances. A subdued but heartfelt Christmas celebration unfolded, a stark contrast to the grand event they had initially envisioned. The walls, adorned with decorations crafted by the town's children and carolers, seemed to come alive with the spirit of the season. The resounding voices of the carolers filled the cafe, their harmonies ringing with a poignant depth, reminding everyone of the resilience and unity that had carried them through the storm. The meager remnants of the once plentiful food supplies were carefully prepared and shared among those who had gathered, a symbolic act of sacrifice that represented the selflessness of the townspeople. It was a Christmas dinner not of abundance, but of unity, where the true meaning of the holiday was brought to the forefront, the spirit of togetherness and the power of a community that refuses to be broken. The community's spirit remained unbroken, and their faith in one another endured. It was a celebration of endurance and an affirmation that their bond was stronger than any storm. The gathering served as a profound reminder that the power of unity and resilience in the face of adversity could illuminate even the darkest of nights. In this chapter, the townsfolk demonstrated the unwavering strength that could be found in their unity. Their resilience and hope were a testament to the human spirit's capacity to withstand and overcome the most trying of circumstances. Even in the midst of hardship, they celebrated the holidays with a sense of togetherness that would leave an indelible mark on their hearts and minds, proving that a community united was an unstoppable force, capable of finding hope and light even in the darkest of times.
Chapter 7. A bittersweet end. The town's enduring strength and unity finally bore fruit as the storm, which had held them in its icy grip for what seemed like an eternity, subsided. The relentless winds and ceaseless snowfall gave way to a profound stillness, and the people of the town ventured outside to witness the transformation that had taken place in their world. Help from neighboring towns, whose residents had heard of the hardships the town was enduring, arrived like a beacon of hope. With heavy equipment and determination, they cleared the roads that had been choked with snow and debris. The returning connection to the outside world was a breath of fresh air, and the sight of the roads opening up was a promise that life was about to return to normal. The restoration of power was a joyful moment, with lights blinking back to life throughout the town. As appliances hummed, and the familiar sounds of a functioning world filled the air, there was a collective sigh of relief. The once dark cafe, Sarah's beloved haven, was now bathed in warm, welcoming light, a stark contrast to the somber setting it had been for days. While the town celebrated the return to normalcy, there was a lingering sense of loss that could not be ignored. The cafe, which had once been the symbol of their community's togetherness, now bore the scars of the hardship they had faced. The decorations that had brought joy and warmth to the cafe were weathered and faded, and the echoes of the bittersweet celebration that had taken place within its walls seemed to linger in the air. The townspeople looked around, recognizing the physical and emotional toll that the storm had taken. The once vibrant and full of life cafe now stood as a testament to the sacrifices made, the struggles endured, and the unwavering determination of the community to support one another in the face of adversity. The holiday season, which had begun with such anticipation, had come to a close with a sense of both triumph and loss, reminding everyone that life's most profound lessons are often learned through its most challenging moments. In this chapter, the town's resilience was realized as they emerged from the storm, and life returned to a semblance of normalcy. However, the cafe, once a symbol of joy and celebration, stood as a reminder of the sacrifices made and the profound impact that adversity had on their close-knit community. The story's bittersweet conclusion served as a testament to the enduring strength of human spirit, even in the face of the most trying circumstances.
Chapter 8. The Lesson Learned. With the storm now a memory, the town's residents found themselves amidst a new phase of reflection. The holiday season had unfolded not as the joyous celebration they had anticipated, but as a testament to the resilience and strength of the human spirit. As the town slowly regained its usual rhythm, the lessons from those turbulent days began to crystallize. It became evident that the true spirit of the holidays went beyond festivities and merry gatherings. It was a spirit of coming together in times of need, showing unwavering compassion, and supporting one another in the darkest hours. The bonds within the community had grown deeper, tighter, and more profound than ever before. Old friendships had solidified, and new ones had been forged in the crucible of adversity. The townsfolk now understood that the bonds they had established would endure, serving as a testament to their collective strength. The cafe, once primarily known for coffee and pastries, had undergone a transformation that was more than physical. It was no longer just a place for sipping cappuccinos or indulging in sweet cinnamon rolls. It had become a symbol of resilience and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The cafe, like the town itself, had weathered the storm. Its scars bore witness to the challenges they had faced together, yet it stood as a testament to their unity and the unbreakable bonds they had formed. The townspeople had come to understand that the spirit of unity and compassion, the very essence of the holiday season, could shine even in the darkest of times. The experience had not only bound them together, but had illuminated the true gift of the holiday season, the love and support they provided one another when it was needed most. In the end, the sad tragedy that had befallen the town during that holiday season had been transformed into a powerful and poignant narrative. It left an indelible mark on the town's history, a reminder of the human capacity for resilience and unity in the face of adversity. The storm had taken much, but in return, it had given them something far more valuable, a deepened sense of community, an enduring appreciation for the strength of their bonds, and a reminder that even in the bleakest of times, the human spirit could find hope and light. The lessons they had learned during those trying days would remain with them, guiding their lives and strengthening their resolve for years to come.